Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tangle Time Arts. My name is Nana Heron, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And I'm excited to be here with you today. It's day 21 of Inktober Tangles, and we have this awesome tangle, Maggie May. It kind of reminds me of a mandala or almost like if you're looking at a kaleidoscope. But we're gonna work on that with our basic materials. And if you still need to get a handout, you can click on the link in the description. And a big shout out to Stephanie Jennifer for putting this together. It's really cool because once you download the handout, if you actually click on the name, it's going to take you to a step out. So that is very handy. All right, so for this project, we just need our basic materials, a white tile, a black pen, a number 2 pencil, and a tortillon. And if you would like to embellish later, you could use some gel pens or colored pencils or markers. So let's get started here. We have since this is kind of like a mandala project, we're just going to use our whole space there for the one tangle. And there are actually, I feel like there's quite a few steps, but if you go stroke by stroke, step by step, it's definitely very manageable. So we're going to just kind of put a dot in roughly the center there. You don't have to measure or anything like that. I just kind of like to mark a dot there. And then we're going to draw a circle. That's pretty small. Go over that a couple times. If you compare with the pen cap, it's about a quarter of that. And then we're going to aura around that circle. And we will do that again. So we have 3 circles. And then we're going to put in some petal shapes. And I like to do the one on the top and the one on the bottom first because we want a total of 6 of them. So I'm going to rotate and then put in my other 2 on each side. You want them roughly the same length. So I'm drawing petals, but if you would prefer to do something like a seed shape, you could do that as well. And then inside of the petals, I am doing a small seed shape. All right, so we have the beginning of like a flower there. Once we have that in, I am going to take this step by step. So I am going to aura around the petals, but I'm not connecting it. I'm not going all the way up to a point. I'm just doing these valleys and putting in the aura. Once I have that in, I'm gonna put kind of like a top on there. But for me, I like to have a little bit of a curve. Um, and I kind of pick up my pen and go over to the next set there. And I'm trying to keep it almost like a continuous, like a circle. I do it step by step this way, so it is more of a continuous circle. And then we're going to put little kind of like caps on top of this bottom part here. So I'm doing that with a little bit of a curve, kind of like kind of reminds me of a Hershey's Kiss. You could do a triangle if you'd like, just a straight triangle, or something more of like a domed top. But I like putting these on. It kind of reminds me of a little hat, like a little hat. All right. And once we have that in, I think I'm going to stop for a minute and do some inking in. So I like to ink these in. You don't have to ink them in, but I kind of like to. So that's optional. And then I also like to ink in these areas, but not solidly. You can ink them in solidly, but I'm just adding lines very closely. So I'm inking in lines very close to one another. If you would like a solid look, you can definitely ink that in more completely. But today I just feel like the inked lines look better with this tangle. All right, now that we've made our way all the way around, now we are going to aura around all of it. So just take your time. You can start anywhere you want. And we'll put in an aura all the way around. All right. Once we have that aura in, we are just going to draw an angle like that in every valley that we have. So we'll end up with 6 of them. And again, you want to kind of make them the same height as much as you can. We're not measuring, so you just kind of have to go um, go by your gut and just try to make them the same. Once we have those in, we are going to cut them in half. And then once we've done that, I think I'm going to ink the right side in. And again, I'm using the fine lines here. If you would like to ink that in solidly, you absolutely could do that. If you would like to do the left side instead of the right side, you could do that too. All right. Once we have that in, then we're going to do some more auras. So we're going to go all the way around. And once we've done that, then we're going to do that again. So round two. Just take your time rotating and working your way around. Because it's not a race. So everyone can work at their own pace. All right. Once we've reached that point, that's Maggie May. How cute is that? Maggie May by Dolly Bolen. Since this does look like a flower-ish, I actually want to add some leaves. So I'm going to go around again and add some leaves to that. So for leaves, it's just a curve shape, kind of like the bottom of the poke leaf. Uh, Very similar to that. And these are optional. It's just something that I thought looked kind of cute to have these leaves in. And now we're going to add a little detail to these. So we're going to cut these in half. Like that. And then we're going to use Jonqal to fill this in. So I'm just making a V shape, and then I'm going to aura that or make another one. And I feel like there would be a little bit of a line there. And I'm going to do that for all of them. And once I've put those are like on a leaf, you would have veins. Once you have that detail in, I'm going to add some more ink lines. So I'm going to start on the right again. Just add these lines. And then we're going to go over to the left and add lines there. And then we're going to go over to the right. So it's a lot like Knightsbridge. You're always looking for the corners that are touching. Or those kissing corners, I guess. And we're going to do that for each leaf if you're adding leaves. It goes pretty quickly. All right, we're done already. So it looks pretty cool. I like that. We're going to do a little bit of shading now. So there's definitely a lot of steps with this tangle, but if you just go one stroke at a time, step by step, um, it's actually very simple. So I'm going to add a little shading around our center here, like that. All right, and then I'm going to add shading here all the way around. All right, we made it all the way around. Then I'm also going to add some shading here because the leaves are behind the Maggie May tangle. So I'm really adding shading anywhere that it's behind something else. All right, we made it all the way around, and then I'm also going to add some graphite on the outside of the tangles all the way around. So I'm really keeping it pretty basic here. All right, so I've got some graphite on there, and then I'm going to take my tortillon and I'm just going to kind of blend that in. I like to start in the center and work my way out. So once we have the center done, then we come to this layer. And that's when you really start to see that kind of layered look, or that almost 3D look, because you get that depth. And I often say this is my favorite part, is the shading. And it starts to look really, really nice. And shading is something that takes a little practice. So um, I feel like I'm always seeing improvement with my shading techniques. Just the more I practice with it, the better it gets. And you can pull your shading up a little bit with your tortillon, um, especially if your tortillon is loaded with a lot of graphite on it. And it just adds this really nice, subtle look to it. Pull that up a bit. All right, I think we've made it all the way around. So you have some nice subtle shading in there. And this is where, if you would like to add something like a little bit of embellishment, you definitely could do that. I am going to grab a gel pen here. I'm gonna, I think, go with a gold one, just for a subtle hint of color. Um, all right, so just a little bit of color. I think I'll add some color here to the center, like that. And then I think I could add some to one of these areas. You got to pick either this one or this one. So I'm doing the one on the inside here. And you don't have to use gold. You don't have to do this at all. This is optional. Um, you can definitely choose a different color. Like that. And so let's see. Yeah, it adds just a really nice metallic color to it. And then you could also add some, if you wanted to add some details like this. You can play around with it and do different things with it. There we go. I think that looks really cute. So we've got just a little bit of color and then some metallic dots coming out. So I like that. If you want to add more color, you could either use colored pencil or markers. So I thought we'd try that as well. So earlier I had made another one. And so they're pretty similar, but now I'm going to take some markers. And let's see, what kind of colors could we pick? Really anything. So I'm going to start with the green, probably. So I'm going to set this one aside for a minute. And I'm going to take a green. And I'm just going to add some color to the leaves. I'm just adding it to the areas that did not get inked in. So we have some green there. And then we can add we probably definitely want some yellow in the center. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the orange and add that. And then I'll go with a darker orange and put that in the center. All right, and then we have our petals. What color should we make our petals? And I'm just going to grab a pink. You could make these blue if you wanted to. Any color, really. All right, and then let's see. Let's see, what other colors could we use? Got kind of this reddish purpley color here. I'm going to add to these. They kind of look like little hats. I feel like this particular tangle really wants color. So even though I like our first one a whole lot, I just feel like this tangle really, really wants some color. And then what should we add? How about some blue? I'm gonna add like a blue. Yeah, let's go with this blue on the outside here. So I'm using dual brush markers from Wexford. You can get them at Walgreens. It's where I get the glitter gel pens. And again, I actually really like these. They were reasonably priced and they've held up pretty well. Got the blue in there. And then what else could we add? Maybe this kind of, I think this is like a purple. Yeah, it's like a lavender. I'll go with that. Just using a bunch of colors because I really feel like this reminds me of a kaleidoscope. That makes me think of being a kid and the magic of looking through that kaleidoscope and changing the patterns and seeing all the colors. All right, that looks pretty good. I think I do want to add one more area of color and we'll go with I don't know if I want it that orange. Maybe we'll just go with orange. and add it to this little area in here. All right, we've got that all colored in, and the last thing would be to add some dots like we did for the other one. So we could do the same thing coming out. We could keep that consistent with our other one. So I've got a purple here, and I'm just adding the dots. So that only gets two, and I feel like we could add an extra one there. Um, yeah. So that's all colored in. And let's look at the two side by side. So we have the very traditional one with just a little bit of metallic color to it. And then this one was colored in with the brush markers. So I don't know, which do you prefer? Um, I like both of them. I really do like the color though. All right, let's put our initials on there. Where am I going to put my initials? So for this one, I'm going to put my initials in here. And then on this one, it's a little harder. I'll tuck it in here like that. All right, so my markers aside, and I'm going to fill this out with my name. And it's Inktober. Oops. Day 21, and we have Maggie May, and that's M-A-Y, by Dolly. Thank you, Dolly Bolen. And we also had leaves in Jonqal. That's a Q-A-L, and that's by Zentangle. All right. So a lot of steps, but just going step by step. It's very doable. And once you do it a couple of times, it becomes really, really easy. And then we added, so this was Maggie May, and we added some leaves to it. And then we embellished just a little or a lot. Uh, yeah, I like them both, but I really do like the color. Um, it There's just something about this tangle that says color me. All right. I hope you had as much fun with that as I did. This was super fun. I'll see you tomorrow. And since it's the start of a work week, I hope you have a wonderful week and be safe out there. And remember, I love you guys.